you.
Buenas noches, everyone. Thank you for being here and thank you for hosting this event. My name is Valarie Bachelor, and I'm the product of a working class immigrant family who, had 2 or 3 jobs to just make it. As an English language learner, I struggled to fit in and catch up with my peers, but my parents really instilled in me a love of learning. So even though they struggled, again, to come to every event and be with us all the time at school. Because we had caring educators and classified staff, my sister and I were both able to graduate with honors, and attend 4-year universities. I I was transformed by public education, and I want OUSD to be that transformative, welcoming place for all of our students. I've dedicated my entire career, over 15 years, working with working people to make sure that they have a living wage, working conditions, and the public schools that they want. I've not only worked with childcare providers, but fast food workers, home care workers, UC faculty, and community college folks to make sure that the public education system in this country goes from kindergarten or really childcare all the way to college. And I want to make sure that you all get every single option that you
15
need in order to be successful. And to me, what that means right now is, as a school system, we need to rescind school closures, fully fund our classrooms, and make sure every single staff member is respected with a living wage.
Measure QQ was passed by Oakland voters in 2020 with the belief that 16 and 17-year-olds are prepared to vote for their school board leaders, but has yet to be implemented. Young people also partnered with OUSD to develop the Civic Engagement Resolution. How will you center and respect youth voice as a board member, and how will you ensure that OUSD takes the necessary steps to prepare 16 and 17-year-olds to be civically engaged and informed voters? Thank you. Now, Valarie Bachelor.
Thank you for this question. So much like Mike, on my 18th birthday, my dad handed me a voter registration form and said, "You're going to join the millions of other voters that are going to be voting this year." And I was so excited to vote because every year since I was a little girl, my parents took me with them to vote. And so we would have discussions as to who the candidates were, discussions about ballot measures and initiatives. And that's how I got excited and got other people to vote when I started becoming a union organizer. I was so excited for working people to have that voice on the ballot box, and I wanted you guys to have that voice so badly. I was so excited when I first launched my campaign because I was like, yes, I will be able to register students. We will go to high schools, we will have events, and come to find out, our county office did nothing to make sure that QQ was implemented. Infuriated me. I had to talk to a couple of key folks to figure out how we can make sure that your voice is being heard. And I will join Pacolia in making sure not only that your voice is counted on the school board, but that we pass state law to make sure that it's counted on everything that we vote on. Because I think it makes sense for us to be able to help you all as the next generation of leaders, giving you those rights, giving you those responsibilities sooner rather than later, to make sure that you all can then take over this county, take over this state for us, right? If we want you all to be able to have those powers, we need to give them to you now. Thank you.
With the ongoing COVID-19 epidemic and recent incidents of violence that have transpired in Oakland schools, health and safety is an ongoing priority for students. The Mental Health Resolution was passed in 2021, and the George Floyd Resolution was passed in 2020. Both were designed with our safety and support in mind. However, there seems to be a disconnect between resolutions passing and being implemented effectively. How will you ensure that these resolutions are implemented with fidelity so that students on campus feel safe and supported?
Thank you so much for this question. As a neighbor of that campus, I was very freaked out of the 3 hours of helicopters that were circling our house trying to find those assailants. So I can only imagine what it was like to be on that campus, to hear those shootings and to see what happened. I would never wish that. Oh, that's really creepy. I would never wish that on anyone, especially the campuses that were affected. I've been talking to parents, students, educators, and administrators across the district, and they've told me crystal clear, we need more people on campus. We need more culture keepers. We need counselors. We need therapists. We need resources to be able to support our students in this trying time. COVID did so many different things to so many different people, yet we as a society haven't processed it yet. How can we think that you all are processing it as well? How can we do that if we're not providing the resources in those classrooms that you need? So that's why I want to stop the school closures and fully fund every single one of our classrooms to make sure that you all feel safe, you all can learn, and you all can thrive in any one of our schools. Thank you.
Students of color make up the majority of OUSD, and yet despite recent policies, we don't feel centered in district curriculum or equitably resourced. For example, ethnic studies has yet to be implemented across the district. Similarly, the Reparations for Black Students resolution seeks to address many of the issues facing Black students and families, but OUSD has yet to put many elements of that resolution into motion. What will you do to ensure these policies and resolutions that center students of color in OUSD are a top priority? Let's pass it on to Valarie Bachelor.
Thank you so much for this question. As a Latina and a queer woman, I support the Black Reparations for Students resolution and a robust ethnic studies program from elementary to high school. For far too long, our district has perpetuated both micro and macro aggressions against our families of color, and that needs to stop. And part of that, again, is the school closures that are set to happen at the end of this school year. 6 of our elementary and middle schools are set to close by the end of this school year. Folks have to remember that and hold folks accountable to those school closures. Back to the ethnic studies, the over promotion and use of testing has made it difficult for our elementary and middle school educators to incorporate ethnic studies in their programs, and that also needs to change. I want to make sure that we can strengthen our ethnic studies curriculum, and that means making sure that our educators have the training and the tools and the time to develop that curriculum and make sure that they can implement it in their classrooms. And I want to make sure that they have all of that to ensure that our students from elementary all the way to high school get a robust ethnic studies program. Because again, as a Latina, as a person of color, I think it's really important to not only learn my own history, but the history of what made this country great, which is the people that are here, the people that will be here, and the people that are coming. Thank you.
OUSD has struggled with its finances for many years. We're excited that increased funding for community schools is coming from the governor, but we know structural issues continue with the OUSD's budget. What do you feel are the biggest challenges with OUSD's budget, and how will you engage students, families, and educators to ensure that their voices and experiences inform budgetary decisions?
Thank you so much for this question, because I hear it at the doors every day, the confusion that folks have around, well, we have to close our schools to keep our school district open, and that's not right. We don't have to close our schools. We've been doing that for over 20 years, and that has led us to where we are today with a public that is distrustful of our district, with folks leaving us for San Leandro and other districts, and even our charter partners, and that is leaving our district high and dry for the long term. And so we really need to be able to look at our budget now, be able to figure out with parents and students, on a budget oversight committee to figure out what are we spending our money on, doing the audit that Pacolia is calling for, because we've never actually had one, to make sure we know where these dollars are going, right? You all see it in your classrooms every day. Do you have all the materials that you need for your science class? Do you have all the materials that you need for gym or other subjects? No. Where is that money going? That is getting stuck at our central office, and it is not right. Secondly, I'm glad to hear that we want to give teachers a raise. I know how to do that. I'm a labor organizer who's been working the movement for over 15 years. I know what it takes to make sure that our educators are respected, and I will do that as a school board member by making sure our district is held accountable to good faith bargaining, that they bring respectful proposals so that our educators and classified staff do not have to go on strike to get the bare necessities for their classrooms.
I'm coming.
Counselors at schools for children for ADHD and autism. Do you have counselors that aren't rough with them and will actually treat them kindly? Thank you.
It breaks my heart to hear someone say that because it means that our staff are overworked and underpaid at this moment, and we all know that. We all know we need more counselors. We all know we need more therapists. We all know we need more students or more adults to work with our children every day. And this school board has not provided us that. And that's why we need a change. This year, we have the opportunity to make a difference in this election. We can continue to elect folks that are aligned totally with folks that have closed our schools, or we can elect working class candidates that will bring about changes like that. Counselors that care because they're not overworked. They don't have 40 to 50 kids to see over 3 different sites. That is not equitable, that is not acceptable, and we can no longer accept that for our students. So candidates like me, candidates like others are on the school board that will make a difference is what we need right now here in Oakland. And I'm here to provide that change to make sure that our students, families, and staff have a voice on the school board. Thank you.